What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai 71 here, bringing you another video. Today I'm bringing you a video on Kamen Rider Build episode 48. For those who don't know, episode 48 is the second to last episode of Kamen Rider Build. The episode is called To the World of Love and Peace. And for those that are wondering why haven't I posted this video sooner rather than later, because typically I'll post it on Sunday or Monday, the Kamen Rider reviews. Same with Sentai. Sentai tends to be Sunday or Monday as well. What's with the lack of post? It has to do with the fact that I was actually away this weekend at Power Morphicon, a major Power Rangers convention with the most Power Rangers actors in one place at one time, as well as tons of reveals for merchandise, panels, new stuff for Beast Morphers, the 25th anniversary, Boom Studios, you name it, and I have tons of stuff that I purchased. But I'm also extremely exhausted from so many events and just putting so much energy into this convention. Believe me, it was such a delight, and I can't wait to go again in 2 years. But I am beyond exhausted. So if I seem out of it in this video, just understand I'm only making this video for you guys, but at the same time, I am so tired. And I may make other ones as well while I'm doing this. Just keep in mind, if I look tired or if I seem tired, that's because I am. So, anyway, let's get started with our review. The episode basically begins with us seeing that Kamen Rider Evil is ready to really commit to defeating the Kamen Riders. We end up seeing him use his black hole mode. Cross Z, Ryoga, Gentaku, and Sento end up transforming into their three more powerful modes, Cross Z Magma, Rogue, and Genius mode. So those three are used. We do see a lot of combat that occurs there. One thing that's important to understand is that Ryoga has this recollection of the fact that he made a promise to Sento that because of the fact that Ryoga and Evolto have shared DNA, he might be the only answer to destroying Evolto. So he may have to deal with other comrades dying in order to save everyone by getting the lost bottles and using the white panel to create a new connect with the new world. So what does end up happening is that in the meantime, we also see that Gentaku is insistent upon fighting. At one point, we end up seeing Evolto stopped by the Queen of Mars, which is in Mizora. And the thing is that right when she's about to be attacked, what actually happens is that Gentaku decides to defend her and gets into a big battle against Evolto. Now, during this battle, what we do end up seeing is another flashback, and this flashback has to do with, his memories of Kazumi telling him that even though he's dealt with a lot of problems in the past and he may not have been always good, Kazumi believes that he deserves to be forgiven for his actions, and he deserves to be a politician and be like his father. He believes that he can be like his father and protect the world. And he has this strong belief, and Gentaku really takes that to heart. And what happens is that Gentaku gets real serious. He ends up beating up Evolto a whole bunch. What we do end up seeing is that eventually at one point the people around the country are shouting out, cheering for the Kamen Riders to win and become victorious. It's this constant shouting and this praise for them and what they do. And what ends up happening is that eventually he ends up dealing a really big blow to Kamen Rider Evil. Now, at the same time, Kamen Rider Evil does something pretty serious, which is that he absorbs the energy from the moon, which leads to him forming his true final form. There was his monster form, which he ends up eventually taking on, but then when he absorbs the energy of the moon, he gains an even more powerful form, which is way more deadly. It adds an extra set of arms onto his shoulders. It looks really weird, but it's kind of cool at the same time. And what happens is that after Gentaku begins to deal with that form, he manages to do some really big blows, and at one point he does something pretty devastating, which is at first unseen and thought of as like, oh, he probably missed or something like that, and you're wondering what that is. Basically, the thing that he ended up doing that was a pretty big deal was that he ended up actually destroying the evil trigger on Kamen Rider Evil, so that basically prevented him from forming the black hole form. And this happens after something pretty devastating occurs where, unfortunately, Gentaku begins to fade away, similar to how Kazumi faded away in the previous episode, where we would end up seeing the sparkles of energy, but at the same time he's still willing to continue to fight on, even as he's dying away. He doesn't stop. He continues to fight on and show that he is not going to give up. He is strong, he is willing to fight, and he will never give in no matter what. So that's a very important detail, and honestly I just want to say, like, it was such a powerful situation. So eventually he does manage to do his finishing blow, which does destroy the evil trigger. Well, it doesn't destroy it, it breaks it. Basically meaning that it's still there, but he can't use it. So what does end up happening is that eventually, at one point or another, Sento and Ryoga are the only ones standing because Gentaku has died. At that point, what does end up happening is that there's a point where Evolto is taken down to the point where it's on the ground. They manage to get the white panel and the black panel to kind of interact with each other and have this effect with the lost bottles, which leads to them being able to use the Pandora's box with the lid removed to open up the portal to the other world where the Skywall never occurred. So at that point, with the Skywall now in existence, there is a special like red eye. There's no like eyeball, like no pupil or anything, but it looks like the shape of like an oval or something, as if it's an eye. It's very red, and the idea is that Ryoga realizes the only way that we're going to be able to destroy Evolto for good is if both myself and Evolto go into the portal, because of the fact that Ryoga has some of Evolto's DNA. And see, if Evolto is destroyed, if even a little bit of his DNA is still around, he could still come back to life. So in other words, he takes one for the team by giving up his life in order to save everyone's life and prevent the Skywall incident from happening and prevent Evolto from ever existing. It's a very important detail. And what does end up happening is that after that occurs, he ends up flying into space, and as we see him flying into space, Sento is beyond surprised by all this. Also, the Genius Bottle gets destroyed by the effects of the alternate world being summoned forth. It's interesting how that works, because the Genius Bottle is completely destroyed. As far as things go, we also see in this episode, I forgot to mention this, that Ryoga manages to get the hazard trigger from Sento that he drops, and he actually puts it inside the build driver, living in combination with the magma knuckle. So he has like the build driver, the magma knuckle, and the hazard trigger all active at once, which allows him to have like this insane overflow ability, which allows him to get super ridiculously strong, and allows his flight abilities to happen, which are something brand new. So that all happens as he flies into that portal. We don't really see like the end result, like we don't see him like fade from existence. All we see is that it's a black screen, and then it continues with the preview for the last episode, which looks pretty interesting. There is a point where it looks like most likely it could be Mizura's father, or it could be someone portraying Mizura's father, like Evolto, saying that, you know, he wasn't strong enough, like Evolto, what do you call it, like Sento was a fake hero, when in reality his friends made him a true hero. And that's the big difference that he kind of talks about. So it's kind of an interesting thing to see that. We do see some interesting stuff where like Sento uses a combination that I'm not sure if it's familiar or if it's something brand new, but it should be interesting to see, or something that maybe has existed in images online, but maybe it's not something that like we've seen in in the actual show. Because in other words, there's a lot of build forms that were like advertised when they were advertising different build forms and combinations and everything, but a lot of them never showed up in the show. Many of them were only featured in movies, specials, or they were featured in certain Japanese games that allowed him to access additional forms that we never see anywhere else. So that's kind of an important thing to consider. And just in general, I'm looking forward to seeing the last episode. Then after that, on September 2nd, we will be seeing the first episode of Kamen Rider Zio. And what we do know already is that Kamen Rider Zio 6 episodes will work this way, where Kamen Rider Zio episode 1 and 2 will focus on build, episodes 3 and 4 will focus on X-Aid, and 5 and 6 will focus on FEWZ. So that's pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that, just because it'd be great to see those Kamen Riders interact with him. We have seen in the previews interactions between Ryoga and Sento as well as Zio, but we don't, and we've also seen interactions between Brave and Zio for X-Aid. We haven't seen any interactions with FEWZ yet, but it should be something that we'll be seeing closer to when things are revealed. But I just wanted to mention that for anyone that's interested in knowing already, that yes, that's what the first 6 episodes are going to look like. Focus on those 3 riders. Again, does not necessarily imply that each time it will be the main rider. It may be secondary in some cases. As I said before, Brave is showing up, but I believe Brave and X-Aid are showing up. FEWZ especially will be interesting to see. FEWZ for the longest time wasn't doing anything with Kamen Rider, but it's really cool to see that the actor that plays him is now going back and taking advantage of the fact that he's like really well loved and all that. So it should be interesting to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing other Kamen Riders return, some more secondary riders as well as for main ones, which is really good that they're doing both. I think that that's such an important thing that I think that if they do it even more, it would be awesome. So please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to know your guys' opinions about this episode, and we'll see you guys in the next videos. Until then, guys, I am Crazy Samurai 71, and goodbye, guys.